Hello. Starting off this episode, I actually did some grinding. So we're gonna get the full Zinogre set going. I got lucky and I got a plate, which is required, I think, for the gloves or something like that. So now we have that fully done up. Let us, do some upgrading on it. Some of the things are 31. Let's see if we can get everything up there. Oh, we didn't need to upgrade that, so that whatever, that's fine. Cool. Yeah, we'll chill at 31 for now. I don't think I have any other stuff to upgrade. This is a misnomer, not like it's something's wrong. But the Carbolite sword will make you think, like, oh, where's Carbolite ore? I can't find it at all. Why can't I upgrade this? I have everything else. And it's because Carbolite ore doesn't show up until, like, actual high rank. And, we're not in high rank, so that's why. So this looks pretty great. Full set. Very, almost samurai-y, I would say. We're in that zone of samurai, like... what's my inventory like? Do I have any weird stuff on me? No? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and blindly try this urgent quest, because I'm both excited to give it a go, and I haven't done the Yenmo-ran for a while, so I think it'll be fun to just, like, see what happens. It's a unique fight, and there are elements of it which I don't recall entirely. Now, just as well, I don't know, maybe... No, it's not really useful here. Yeah, there's portions of this fight that are unique. You're on a boat. You gotta shoot cannons and stuff. So we'll see if I mess it up. It's like Lao Sheng Lung in Unite. It's like, will I... make a mistake? Will I not? All right. Okay, Yenmo-ran time. So, yeah, there's a few things. We can get the arrows from here, and we can use those. And then there's, I believe there's, yeah, cannonballs there. Generally, what you're doing is you're dragging stuff from one side and trying to fire it off. So, like there, see? We're just aiming to get the Yenmo-ran with all of our most lovely artillery. We can also... Oh, I should have made my cat smarmer. Oh, well. Ooh, I got tossed, but that's okay. Oh, right. Right, this is how you do this. Or is it? I don't know. Oh, okay, I found the button and I messed it up at the same time. So good. I guess in this situation, I kind of did the wrong order. So when he's close like this, we should use the cannon. And then when he's far away... Ooh. You should use the bow gun. But, you know, there's a bunch of different ways, so we'll see. Can I hit him? Barely. You gotta, like, crack something open to deal damage there. I think there's a Dragonator, but it's up front. Oh, cool. I did not know I could get up here this easily. So you can mine. The Enno-Ran. It has the Pelagasite ore is an ore that's typically found underwater in 3 Ultimate. This game kind of modifies that. Oh, okay, that was my bad. I should have gotten off. So, you know, it is what it is. Or maybe I just didn't have enough health? I don't know. You know, this quest, too, it has interesting implications. And I say that just because, like, obviously this thing is somewhat reminiscent of a... Oh. That was not what I wanted. We get to see this cool thing, this animation. Funny that I must have just not had the health, because I imagined that falling off grabs you some way. So, like, this thing is reminiscent of a whale, and it's a Japanese game, right? So there's kind of that, like, is this a reference to whaling? And, you know, this may be, as odd a statement as that is, like, the best, air quotes, way to be involved in whaling. Just because, you know, obviously nothing actually gets hurt here, some pixels. There's definitely a disconnect in how animals can be treated in my world, and, you know, how something like whaling would function. Because I'm not the type of person that really, like, I understand hunting for subsistence, and it's weird that I play this game because I'm actually quite a big animal lover. I've always had a little bit of a dissonance between the fact that I like Monster Hunter and the fact that I would never embrace the type of thing that it is in real life. I don't know, is this... Let's do this. Let's see what happens. That's gonna hurt. So this is just phase 1 of the Enno-Ran fight. Oh, no, okay. I guess I'm gonna get on it now. Let's try not to die again. Okay. I'm okay with falling off. That doesn't really bug me. I don't know, but I think really I'm actually a big fan, largely speaking, Monster Hunter and pretty much everything included. I think virtualization is a fantastic way to deal with taboo, violent, or inappropriate things in a way that largely doesn't hurt anyone. You know, there are people who argue that, like, indulging in certain things, regardless of topic or manner, is inherently, a negative. And I am not one of those people. You know, there's just a lot of that. Oh, come on. Oh, whatever. So, you know, I think being able to, like, yeah, like, should we, for example, do whaling in real life? Personally, I don't think so. I recognize that the discussion is as much cultural as it is moral and practical. But, you know, there's elements of every culture that are morally, maybe not ideal. So, you know, if we were able to take those things and move them into a place where they could still be indulged, so to speak, without causing massive harm, maybe that would be, you know, an ideal way to do it. And there's a lot of things that, like, I think, you know, humans just in general, we have a lot of uncomfortable desires. I think is the best way to phrase that. Things that we might not like about ourselves, about our species, about the way that our brains work. And being able to enact those in a safe place. Well, I think that's the benefit. Ow. I don't really recall what the hunting gong does. Is that this again? Okay, we're out of cannon ammo. That's probably gonna hurt me. Oh, nice, it didn't hurt me. Who would have thunk it? Can I even connect with him? No. You know, I think one of the things you have working against you in this game mode as well, this fight, is it's a limited time. Yeah, now are we aiming up to do the Dragonator here? I imagine we are. Because I think he charges the front of the boat. And you gotta smack him. Yeah. Oh, darn it. That clearly did not work. So yeah, I very well may, I may bork this up. It's not going what I would call ideally. But, like I said, I was going to go into it blind just to see what happens. Oh well, let's see what we get. Right, I think this is a good spot to be attacking, right? Yeah, there we go. It's interesting to watch the hunting gong is ready for use. Okay. Yeah, so if he breaks the ship, we're in a bad situation. But, I don't know. I feel like just wailing on him here is not doing too bad for me. Unless we get kicked off and die again. Which I feel like is incredibly possible. Oh. Okay, good times, good times. At least the cats can fight too. You know, that's pretty nice. I think the last time I actually did this fight was in, Is there any ammo in here? Oh, nice, there is. Entering the final showdown. Okay, well, I don't think I'm gonna do it, but hey, we will bring our optimism. Is that far enough to hit? No. That hits. We'll probably move it down a little bit. Try and get him in the head. There we go. Yeah, this is the final showdown that I was thinking of. You gotta prevent him from getting towards you. You do get more ammo, which is nice. Generally, he just kind of crawls. And then when you get close enough, you gotta try and do the Dragonator, and that'll make him step back a little bit. It's, in my experience, it's not too hard to mess this up. Like, or it is hard. It isn't hard to mess it up. It's pretty easy to mess it up. Just again, because of the time limit. Yeah, I mean, I guess as well, it's supposed to feel more like an event than it is a standard hunt. And it's funny too, because the armor for Genmoran is actually pretty awesome. But if you want the armor, you have to do this a few times. And then again, once you've like done it a bit, it is much easier. Yeah, that binder that I can get, I think that holds him in place for a little while. What I should largely do with that one is, like, wait till he's closer, I believe, and then, like, just nail him with cannonballs. One of the things you can really hope for, too, is that when you're doing cannonballs, that your cat decides to contribute. And, you know, this kind of fight kind of got a call back in Monster Hunter World. There's a big siege fight, or there's actually one or two in that game, depending on how many patches you've played. And I feel like, to me anyways, it was very reminiscent of fighting Yenmo Ran. Ah, whatever. Oh, I have anti-dragon bombs. Probably should have been using those. Ah. Come on, turn around. Let me shoot you in the face. Great. Yeah, now, okay, we are out of that. Let's see if the cannons can hit him from here, because we gotta be doing something. No, he is just out of range. So maybe we'll let him get, yeah, a few steps closer. Oh yeah, it starts becoming real when a monster that big is in your face. That's cool. All right. Now let's see if we can get the binding here. Nice. Keep him in place and just fire a bunch of cannons at him. And then when he gets, I think it's a few steps closer, we got to get that Dragonator off. Oh yeah, now he is right in our face. But I think we gotta wait a little bit more, funny enough. Oh. Wow, somehow I managed to get that through that interaction. Okay, nice. Okay, that did it. I thought I was going to have to do... Oh, all right. Cool. Damn, I didn't even... I was doing better than I thought. I mean, I'm incredibly pleased with that being the case, because, like, it's a long section to kind of redo. No, I might end up grinding it. I don't know. For, like, weapons or something. Armor. We'll see if we can, like, see the armor. If I recall the Yenmo Ran armor, it's like, if the Zenogre set is 75% samurai, the Yenmo Ran set is, like, 100% samurai, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's is it more like Mongol? I don't know. Oh, look at this mouth. Jeez, very whale mouth. Oh well. Hey, I am incredibly all right with clearing that. Elder Dragon Blood, Scale, Brace, Commendation, Fang, all good things. Lovely. Now that that's done, we've unlocked Mining Point 2, which I can't afford right now, so that'll come in the future. This, we should just be able to, yeah. Let's give this guy the Zenogre Sword. Okay, they both have Zenogre Swords now. Oh wait, no. This guy needs his Zenogre Sword. Great. What does he have on? Yeah. We're just giving both of my cats Zinogre gear. I guess that one can keep his Rathalos plate, because, like, what's the harm? All right, and you know what's surprising myself even that went as smoothly as it did, more or less. Ah, Hunter, welcome back. I just heard you succeeded in defeating the Mountain Peak Dragon. You never cease to impress me. Keep up the good work. I realize it's terrible of me to congratulate you in such a manner, but as it happens, I have another request I'd like to ask of you. It's a quest that only someone of your skill level can handle, I'm afraid, and I was certain it wouldn't be worth your time if it wasn't, am I right? Also, once higher ranked guild quests become available, I'd highly recommend you look into them, as the rewards you'll gain are well worth the extra challenge. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that is that situation addressed. I think this stays as a Yenmo Ran thing. I don't really... Maybe I'm forgetting something. No, I think this is it, right? Okay, so now we're at a point where we have to kind of move into moving up the guild. We're largely done with all of these quests, and I could go through and clear them and stuff, but we've fought pretty much all the monsters, and there are some big quests that maybe if I could do if I felt like doing some epic hunting. But we can move up to the guild now, as there is a end point that I'm thinking of. But maybe, you know what, we can do some spa quests, help us along the way. Yeah, let's hot spring quest. What do we have? Yeah, this is not a bad idea, because I think, you know, level up the hot spring, because I'm gonna probably grind some of the guild out. Oh, this person wants to talk. Welcome to the... Oh my, it's you. All that hard work you've put in for the guild has earned you quite a reputation. I received some new monster data today regarding Yenmo Ran. This gigantic monster is well known, earning itself the proud title Mountain Peak Dragon. We also carry recovery shots, new book of combos. I think this is largely for people who are playing online only, or only in the guild. So we'll take that quest. Oh, that's my house, right. God, imagine your house being connected to work. I'm sure some people would love that, but... Yeah, so the low-rank guild quests are pretty much the same pattern that we have already seen in this playthrough. Great Jaggy, Royal Ludroth, Rathalos, Nargacuga. If there's anything new, I won't push past that, but I don't think we start hitting anything new until we actually hit high rank. So it's kind of like repeating the game up to this point in so far, which I'll do. Because the final boss of this game... Okay, I guess it really depends. Like, there are secret bosses. But the boss that I'm thinking of, like I mentioned, I'm gonna more or less call this one complete at the point when we have dealt with both of the threats from the opening cutscene. We've dealt with one multiple times. We're wearing its armor now. But there remains another. And that's what I'm gonna get to. And then when that is done, I don't know how long it's going to take me. Because this game does have a few what are called variants at this time. So it's usually like a, you know, a different colored version of something with a few extra moves, or maybe it's an elemental alignment is different. And they are largely difficult fights. There's some that I'm not looking forwards to. Like, my least favorite variant to fight is usually the variants of Tigrex and Nargacuga. I think it's like Brute Tigrex and Silver Wind Nargacuga. And they're just very fast. And they like to beat you up accordingly. So when that point in time comes, I may have to, we'll see what the stats are, but I may have to ditch the armor here and get a high rank set. Because like this set is pretty good to get into high rank. I feel more or less confident going through with this and getting to that point, but it might be like on my first major high rank hunt. You know, I might switch over to like high rank Rathlos or whatever. Okay, is the other guy even here yet? He is not. That's awkward. Or maybe he's just not considered a wyvern and Psycho Serum isn't picking him up, but I kind of doubt that's the case. I'm here for the Volvidon, right? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Ah, well, we'll just mine. There's no harm in that. You know, like, it's a valid question of what's the point in getting low rank stuff after you have enough of it, and I would argue, like, there's still uses of some of the lower armors. Like, even look at my Carbolite sword, right? Like, if I hadn't been getting Macalite, Dragonites throughout the game, I might not have the grand sum that it takes to build that weapon. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Plus, as well, you never know when you're going to need a whack of armor spheres. And I'm always just a little bit comfier having hoarded them than I am needing to grind them out and hoping to RNGesus that I get blessed. Firestones are pretty good too. I think those, are those account items or no? I think that's like coal and stuff. Ah, well. This Volvidon will hopefully be around by the time I'm done doing this little mining run. I should have actually used the hot spring before going for this quest. I'll do that next time. Hey, nice, cool. A little bit of account item stuff. Largely useful because I would like to get that second mining point that will let me get Carbolite prior to actually getting to high rank. So I'm going to focus on getting as many pieces of coal and stuff that I can turn in as is possible. I think unlike Monster Hunter Unite, I don't think there's treasure quests in this. And treasure quests are like the fastest way to grind account points, town points in Unite. But doing it here, I think you kind of got to do the classical thing. You got to do gathering quests, which is all fine. Just might be more interesting off screen than on. Yeah, whatever. I have good health. And that great Roggy, like, took no time. I can only imagine the Volvidon may be the same. I kind of love dual hunts. It just feels like doing the express version of some monsters. And my little monster Korg is asleep, so I'm in a set position. Oh, okay, now I probably should do a heal, but I gotta get this stink off of me, and I don't have a cleanser, so that being what it is. Oh, was that a status heal? That's awesome. I don't know why I'm using those when I have a whack of first aid meds. I mean, that's a benefit of doing at least the low rank guild quests. You get a lot of supplies to make the grind easy enough. I do think there is a slight difference even between low rank and village quests. But it's largely so moderate that beyond adding maybe like a minute or two to the fight, it's not disastrous. It's actually, I would argue it's more arduous than it is anything. Just because, like, at a certain point, just adding health to a fight, like, it can make it difficult. But it's by no means my favorite method of increasing difficulty, just making something take longer because you gotta whack it more. Oh, for some reason I thought that was gonna pass quicker. My Final Fantasy 14 AoE mindset is coming in. Oh, he's already casting. Let's just like get right in there as soon as it ends. Oh, well. Okay, yeah, see, there we go. Not an extensive spring quest, but it'll boost up our stats relatively well. Can I finish it here? I'm not confident, but I'll try. Nah, he's gonna get away. That's okay, though. Yeah, I felt bad for my dog lately. I can't take him out for walks right now because it is incredibly smoky here. Like, as high a risk as it can go for health quality. It is bad. You might be like, if you stayed in a bathroom and hotboxed it with 10 cigarettes, you might still be better off health-wise than going out for a few moments in the current conditions. So I don't want to take him out and his little lungs inhaling all that smoke, and you know, he doesn't need that. So it sucks, but we gotta exercise him inside and give him lots of training to supplement the fact that he's not going for walks right now, even though I would much prefer to, just because, like, he thrives in that schedule. What can you do? You can't deny the health risk of something, and I think, like, trying to push through when something is obviously not right is a bad human trait. And I understand the insistence upon routine. I myself thrive on it, which is actually, I think, one of the reasons that, like, the routine of a dog is fine by me. Because once I set a routine, I love sticking with it. It just makes my brain happy. So that being what it is, we can only do so much. We can't make the wildfires go away, and I can't stop them. Myself, anyways. So I just gotta do what I can, keep the windows closed. Oh, I'm glad that I have a hall and big enough for him to run up and down. It makes a big difference. Charms? What'd we get? Sleep, poison. Alright, that's something. And we return, like me, to Tears of the Kingdom every single day since it's released. All right, hot spring has been upgraded. Oh, look at that. Now the waters are pinky. Nice. All right, well, let's obviously go and indulge that. I would actually love to sit in a hot spring right now. Success. Oh my god, we're so much better now. Hello. Yeah, let's do the next one. Beneath the burning sand. We gotta hunt a nibble snarf? Alright. Yeah. Cool. Let's go nibble snarf it up. I'm not usually a hot tub, hot springs person. I mean, like, if it's outside, I pretty much always will be. I'm not into indoor hot springs and hot tubs. Like, sometimes there can be consolations that make it worthwhile. Like, there's this one hotel that I like, and I went to a lot when I was younger. And, like, you know, you'd go with friends, and you'd rent out a big room, and spend some time in that place, city, whatever. There's one place that had, as far as I can understand it, it had an actual natural hot spring under it. And they kind of like industrialized it with updates. What am I looking for? Thank you. It's like 10 or 9, that's the question. Ow. That like barely hurt, which I think is hilarious and very indicative of the quality of armor we're wearing right now. But, okay. So they had this hot spring underneath the hotel. And, like, it had standard, like, change rooms and stuff, like what you'd find in, like, a pool or whatever community situation. But it was really nice otherwise. And it had, like, stone walls, and it was very dimly lit. And it had more of a feeling of like an actual natural space. And then it had this really cool thing where like it was all cave in the walls, but it opened up right in the middle, and it kind of like the opening poured out into the courtyard, which most of the hotel rooms look down into. So it was like this cool big like plume of steam escaping. And that was fun. That was a good time. I don't recall ever not enjoying it, with the exception of like once when I think people just like let their kids in or something, and it got really itchy. Like, all I remember is there was a bunch of kids in there, and then after getting out of the water, I was itchier than I'd ever been prior, and I'd been there a fair amount of time, so I was like, that's not normal. But what can you do? Wow, this nibble snarf is big. I wonder if this is a crown nibble snarf at any point, any level. I don't know. But, you know, like, I've been in, you know, like, you go to a pool or, like, a hotel pool, a standard one. And it's, like, a big tile space, and then maybe off to the side, there's, like, a hot tub big enough for 6 to 8 people or something like that. And that's fine. Like, you know, if that's what you're into, especially if, like, if you're sore, you know, God forbid you're traveling with children, like, you probably just want to soak in some hot water and pretend you're dead a little bit. And that's totally fine. I'm not judging that. Just, it's one of those, like, you can't wash out the taste of fine wine with cheap port type situations. And once you've been in a really nice outdoor hot spring on the side of a mountain, looking down into a snowy town, it's very tough to be like, I'm in a tile room with no windows. Wow, I'm having such a good time in this water. At least that's just my experience. And maybe, you know, that it's a slightly elitist opinion. I won't even deny that, you know? Having even been able to enjoy something like that is something that I'm very lucky to have experienced. But it's tough to moderate what I guess you could call privilege, right? Because unless you're like hyper rich, most people, you know, the average person probably has some very up moments and some very joyous experiences. They're just not as dense in the schedule of their life as, say, somebody who comes from wealth and real privilege would. So, like, I've done those things, but, like, I can count years in between some of these experiences, you know? Whereas I think when you're very truly eternally privileged, you can count days between those types of things. But even then, like, you can only feel so bad for having a positive thing, and you shouldn't let it take away, you know? We would all love to try and just have the best experiences in life that we can and find joy wherever possible. And if you get that opportunity, you shouldn't deny it just because, you know, not everybody is in the room with you. If you want to make it your mission every other moment to bring as many people there and share that with as many people as possible, good. And you should. That's awesome. That's a good motivation. You know, let's bring luxuries and the quality of luxury and the frequency of luxury up across the board. I'm totally on board for that. Conversely, you can't spend all of your time just trying to take care of other people and feeling guilty when you don't, because you're gonna lessen your own stockpile. Your ability to support doesn't come out of an infinite pool, and you can, you know, empty that well, so to speak. So it's important to take a break, let some rainwater dribble in, let the aquifer spill into your supply. And even then, it'll be worth it because you'll be able to, at a greater level, actually offer the support you want to after you've taken the time for yourself. It's easy enough in some positions to, like, build in your recovery time, right? Like, say you're in a very physical position, then, like, taking care of yourself, getting massages, taking long naps, you know, doing what you need to physically recover, it's probably pretty easy to know you need to do, because you'll be like, oh, my back hurts, my hands look cracked and sore, you know, whatever it is. When you're in a position that may be more of a mental drain, it's tough to disseminate, is this the regular exhaustion I feel having to apply myself and think critically and solve big problems? Or is it exhaustion from having done that too much? You know? Is my muscle just being used right now, or is it being strained? And, you know, there's added issues too. Like, you look at emergency medicine, if you're a nurse, you're a doctor, therapist, psychotherapist, whatever. You might be in a position where, you know, taking care of yourself directly could have the implication of taking away from someone else receiving health care, which is why, you know, burnout for nurses is so tough. Even, like, you look at vets or something too, right? People who care, people who are in medical emergency situations, they have this added weight of, like, if I'm not there, what will happen? And, you know, does that mean that you should just keep on pushing through even if you're suffering? I personally would argue no. For the same reasons. Even though it's tougher, we need to push for systems that accommodate those breaks for the people who need them the most. You know, I've always thought, like, as an example, when I was younger, I worked in a retirement home. So I was working with people who are in a safe living unit, and that's for dementia, Alzheimer's, precarious health situation where you need effectively 24/7 monitoring from a nurse. And typically the type of nurse that is in a position like that, working at a retirement home,
or retirement community, as it's more proper to say, is an LPN, so a licensed practitioner nurse. And, you know, doing the safe living unit, I think is something that should be done in terms. Same thing as emergency services, if I'm being honest. I don't think anyone should live in the ER no more than I think someone should live in the safe living unit. And by that I mean work in it consistently. People have to live there, obviously, depending on the circumstance. But if you are constantly having to be at the highest level of operation, constantly having to handle critical, you know, conditions or reactions, or just having to be at a place where you have to be alert for, you know, someone's livelihood or multiple people's livelihoods, you shouldn't have to do that constantly. You should be able to do a certain amount of time, maybe even just like, you know, 3 months on or something like that. And when it's done, you get to be done for a while. You can go back, but just like cycling it through, having enough people to consistently cycle it through, letting people go and live some regular life, it's good. There's a lot of tons of emerging evidence that anxiety reduces your lifespan and increases your chances of heart attack and stroke, which for somebody like me sucks, because my anxiety is largely about the potential of having a heart attack or a stroke, you know, and contribution to many things. So it's like, oh, me worrying about having a stroke is more likely to make me have a stroke. Kind of a crappy situation, but it is the way that things go, and being mindful of that. Being mindful that overwork and overstress have physiological repercussions is something we need to recall constantly, build into our working schedules, build in how we're designing systems for people and careers moving forwards, because we can't really be churning people in and out. And in addition to that, we're going to see a big change when there's a generation retiring, and that generation is full of overworkers. So we're going to have to kind of reclaim what it means to be good in your position without it being abusive to your body. Which is tough, because I think it's been the standard for a long time now. Okay. The hot spring has been upgraded. Now it's just a bit shinier. We might as well. Lovely. All right, small token of appreciation. I think this is the last one we gotta do. Wow, that's a hunt, isn't it?
Hi.
But as mentioned, I'm not really worried about multi-hunts, because again, they to accommodate the time and stuff like that, they make it so these monsters have split health pools. So I imagine because it's thirds, they might drop much quicker than we have expected historically. Let's see though, eh? What's gonna be first? Okay, we're gonna try to go to 5. Oh, we'll see if he stays there in 5. Who knows? I don't even know what it is. I imagine it's whatever was first on this list, so an Argyros. We will indeed see. Yeah. Sorry, Argyros, you got pulled in with the some big boys here, so you're the first in a 3-part list. I mean, honestly, he'd probably just be proud to be involved, you know what I mean? Because, like, if you're tied in with Raytheon and Zinogre, that's looking pretty good on your resume. Okay, that's more or less this one. I can tell he is already ready to go. Okay, now we might wait a moment for the other one to spawn. So I don't really know what's best to do in that situation. You know, let's we can go up. Why not? See what happens. That's pretty. Right, it is nighttime. I love going out at night. I'm not this is sad to say. I don't live in a situation where I feel safe going out at night, for better or worse. It's been pretty crazy in the neighborhood that I am in. Not, you know, there's like shootings every day type thing, but we had a really bad week there, which for Canada is pretty interesting because, like, you know, unfortunately down the States, it seems like you can basically tell time based on how many mass shootings there have been. And it's not days or weeks, it's hours. Here in Canada, it's less frequent, although that seems to be becoming less true, unfortunately. I don't know if it's pour over, but it's definitely been tough. And I think, you know, there's lots of contributions, right? Like, there's no such thing as preventing crime by removing, you know, the things they use to do crime with. People will always find a way to be criminals. So, you know, it's not like we should just go ahead and do one random thing and now all these problems aren't going to be there. The problems are caused by, you know, financial insecurity or housing insecurity, addiction and a lack of methods to fix it. And, you know, that's just kind of the nature of it. There's not much that can be done unless people are willing to invest in those fixes. But for the most part, you know, and it's tough because politics is a short-term game. But folks are more interested in chasing symptoms. You know, this person committed a crime. This person is setting up this. Compared to, you know, why are they doing that in the first place? Can we remove that motivation from the structure of our society? Because there's tons of things where I think even just like adding a universal basic income would cut down crime so much, to the point where the money saved from having to police things and aggressively chase down concerns would, I think, largely be mitigated just by the social benefits of people being in a better place, of having safe homes, having places to go, and not have to crush themselves just to guarantee that. Now, is that going to be universal? No. And there are folks who that won't work for. But just because, you know, there's a percentage that it's not going to be a perfect cure for, doesn't mean it's not worth pursuing for, I would argue, a majority of affected people, that it would be a major benefit. And I'm thinking even small scale, you know, like younger people who are maybe motivated to get into a dangerous lifestyle. You know, it's kind of a taboo topic, but I know a lot of people my age and earlier, and concerningly earlier in some cases, where the only way they think they're ever going to be able to make money is through something like prostitution. And while I agree that prostitution should be safe and legal and not present any criminal charges or harm to anybody involved in it, going through it illegally has a lot of risks and can really, really hurt people. And, you know, maybe there's people who don't, you know, have any passion, for lack of a better word, for that service, and are still kind of obligated to put themselves in there out of fear, out of financial insecurity, whatever it is. And, you know, how many people would you keep out of lifestyles that they don't want to be living if they just had financial security, if they had a home, if they had some ways of having their basic needs met? And then whatever work they do find, maybe it takes them longer to work up in their career. Maybe they have to handle different positions. But even if they are in that, like, you know, scooping dog crap phase of their life, which I've been there, that's been my job before I got lucky and moved into a really fancy position. You know, before that, maybe they're just as secure as they might not be until they're years into their career in the traditional structure, right? What is that going to do to that person and their ability to take care of themselves, their family? Are they going to be more of a motivated to not indulge in illegal activities? Because, like, people have this presumption that people who are really desperate or are experiencing financial insecurity are more malicious, that they're greedier. And I was recently reading a study that largely disproved that assertion. That goes to show that people who are financially unstable have just as much moral grounding to their decision making as somebody who isn't. And, you know, presented in situations like somebody has lost their wallet, do you keep it, or something like that? People who could need that money are shown to be just as trusting, deserving, and respectful as somebody who wouldn't need the money. Now, I mean, is that a 100% ratio type thing? No, nothing is. But it disproves this assertion that, like, just because somebody is in a down place, they're going to take everything they can. They're going to gorge themselves. They're going to go and go and go until they can't anymore. Because it's not what evidence showcases. Evidence showcases that most people just want to live a safe and secure life. They aren't looking for overages. And while that is a persistent, you know, thought in our psychology, the idea if I have a little bit more, I'll be happy, a broad majority of people don't want to destroy somebody else to do it. Now, I mean, I've often heard that, you know, there's this question, if you could press a big red button and somewhere someone would die, you don't know who, it could be anyone, but you get $1 million every time you press that button. You know, lots of people would debate heavily about whether or not to press that button. Should I do it? Is it worth it? Will it affect somebody I know, somebody I love? And then I heard a joke that it's important to remember that there's millionaires and billionaires who are effectively pressing that button non-stop. They're doing 8-hour shifts of pressing that randomly hurt somebody to make money button. And, you know, I think those are the same people that, were they lacking, would be inclined to steal the wallet. You know, you think somebody who has a lot of money, you see them as being full, so to speak. and not being interested in the excess. But it usually is the people who amassed an excess are the exact people who are attracted to that type of thing. And wealth hoarding is a real concept. Like, you can look at even now the Writers Guild strike, you know? I think it's the WGA, which, good on them. Get your money, especially as a writer who would love to someday be associated with the Writers Guild and working in film and video games and doing high-level script writing. That's a dream of mine. I don't want to get there and be taken advantage of. Nor do I think people want crappy shows. Now there's some technical assertions that are coming out of that strike that like strike me as incorrect, even though I see the point, right? Like, folks are part of the strike is about AI replacing writers and contractually protecting their positions against AI replacement. And I think that's totally valid. You should want to implement that. However, there's an assertion that I've seen come out that an AI couldn't write a story as good as a human. And on a technical basis, I find that incorrect. Language learning models are coming a long way. They're very impressive, and they can study and tell stories very effectively. I think the point that should be argued is that we are interested in investing in human stories told by humans, sharing a unique perspective or opinion. That's more, I think, the benefit of human writers, because, like, if you look at it on a technical level, like, you know, we can obviously train the machine to put together something. But is it going to have the impact without saying, oh, you know what, the writer of this had this experience, or they come from this part of the world, or they're infusing this portion of their own history and culture into what we're experiencing here? That's something that AI can't do. And it can't claim to do it. And it could emulate it. And it could probably reproduce it even somewhat accurately at times. But the benefit of art isn't just that you can do it. It's, you know, what does the storyteller envision telling it will do? What do they think will change? What are they trying to showcase? And, you know, that's just part of being a writer. That's part of the process. But arguably, that's the angle I think they should be taking. That said, I really hope we don't get a bunch of shows butchered like we did back in 2008, because, like, I'm still sad that Heroes got all messed up. I did not get on the original Heroes hype. You know, random diatribe. I don't know how the heck anyone watched shows consistently back when they were coming out on cable. Like, I did that briefly for a while with The Walking Dead, because I was a big fan of the comics, and I liked a portion of the show. I definitely fell out at the Negan arc. I was already feeling like, this is a little sketch, and then the Negan arc, like, did that cutaway at the end of, I think, season 7 or something like that, and it just ruined me on the show, because I was already in a place where I was like, oh, you know what, this season is kick butt. I really like a lot of the dynamics here. I like how they're playing the villains. I like the setup. And then they just revealed that, like, the producers had way too much of a say in how they were manipulating the writing, and they were putting things in a way where I just, like, you could feel the behind the scenes logic for stuff. Like, even the cutaway was just so unnecessary thematically, and it was frustrating, and they made you wait a season to see the outcome. And, you know, that type of thing sucks. So when I watched Heroes, I didn't really get to see it at all on cable. I never watched it when it was coming out. I caught up with it after the fact, and I got episodes of the show. And when I was going through, I was like, oh, season 1, awesome. Let's see where this goes. Then the other seasons arrived, and you're like, huh? And it is just one of those things that you learn later is the writer's strike, and didn't have the people who were creating the show, and they lost the tone of the characters, and the producers were just trying to make shots, you know? But it's you know, there's a reason that business people need other disciplines. Business people largely have this mindset that, you know, 9 women can birth 1 baby in 1 month. They forget the details. They forget the realities of things. They just have demands and they want them met. They see metrics and they want to pursue them. They see trends and they think they apply universally. And it's kind of broken logic. Because I think it's, you know, as funny as it is, the worst business decisions are made by business people. Usually, like, you know, take software, for example. If you let a product be developer technology driven, you might have some obtuse choices that are made, but you'll probably always have choices that are made that are smart for the product, that make sense, that are guided by existing infrastructure. If you have asks that come from somebody from a purely business perspective, you might get some really random stuff or things that don't make sense. Like you see in the trend right now of everything having AI. Like, is AI super cool? Yeah, it is. Does AI even make sense being applied in every single place you can stuff it? Absolutely not. That's a silly idea. And yet, I think because it's popular right now, a lot of what I guess you could call stakeholders want to implement that wherever they can. And it's just based on this assertion that, like, oh, it's popular, other people are using it, other people are seeing success, well, that's what we have to do now. And it's always, like, weird to me, too, because, like, you know, you have, say somebody is like, we're defining the industry by doing what everyone else is doing. And you're like, you're defining, you know, the industry in the same way the wall of a cardboard box is defining the other wall of the cardboard box. Like, you're all just standing in the same direction in different places. That's not really doing anything. It's just holding up what's already there. Like, sure, you're doing it, but you wouldn't say, you know, this is the wall of a cardboard box is changing how boxes work. It's just, it's part of a box. It's doing what boxes do. So that's always confusing to me. But then again, there's language that's, like, involved in businesses, you know, that are mostly excuses is the best way to phrase it. You know, you look at, like, why isn't every company that can adopting remote work? And you'll get, like, a plethora of silly excuses. And, oh, you know, the industry standard, and look at our competitors are doing this, and other people are moving this direction. And it's like, so is that how all the choices are just being made? We're just looking outside the window and copying what we see? What is so, you know, unique or industry defining about a choice like that? And people, I think they're comfortable. You know, look at the wide industry resistance to a 4-day working week. I think everyone wants a 4-day working week, everyone that would be able to reasonably take it. And businesses are really resistant, I've seen, largely. And they go, oh, you know, other people aren't doing it, so we wouldn't be yet either. And it's like, other people aren't doing it because other people aren't doing it. What type of snake eating its own tail logic is this? Somebody has to pull the tail out of their mouth, and then, you know, the cycle can change. But nobody's willing to do that. And it's weird for me, I guess, because, like, I never cared what other people think. It's definitely a difficulty that I encounter in some social interactions. I had to train myself coming out of, you know, living with an addict and an abusive situation where I can't take responsibility for the reactions of other people, especially when you have somebody in your life commit suicide. You have to learn, and part of your recovery is deciding and confirming that, like, hey, people are going to make the choices they're going to make, and they may try and hold you responsible for that, but ultimately we all hold the wheel to our own life, you know, largely. So I've definitely, through my process of recovery, gotten to a point where I don't hold myself responsible for the reactions and choices of other people. And that's also manifested in a way where I don't really care for the status quo. I'm happy pursuing the best resolution, the best answer, the best path to fixing something. And it's really difficult for me to understand what anyone else is worried about, I guess, in standing out. And I think it just boils down to not being comfortable with it or not being used to it. Whereas, you know, for me, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't mind being stared at. I don't mind being critiqued. I don't mind people saying, what the heck, why are you doing this? You're so weird or whatever, you know? Like, it just doesn't affect me in the way that it seems to affect other people. And I think, you know, going to a business school and viewing things through that perspective, you very much get into a position where those considerations are imperative, and you're spending a lot of time with feedback and market research and stuff. And how do you separate facts and actionable information from the choices that you want to make agnostic of that? It's tough, and there's not much discussion on that. I think it's chase the market, chase the trends, chase this, and then every now and then somebody's going to come around and be legitimately disruptive with a positive service or a worthwhile change, and then everyone's just going to try and copy that. Okay, I think that was the final hot spring quest that we had, eh? Do we get a different color? Yeah, it's very blue. Okay, token of appreciation, but we're clear on these right now. So we can relax and rest. Thanks for watching this episode of Monster Hunter 3 Portable. We're gonna go ahead and do some more in the future. So after this episode, feel welcome to stick around. We're gonna go through all the Monster Hunter games. Hope you have a good one. Farewell.
Quack.